Pakistan is a terrorist state. Pakistan sponsors terrorists and trains Islamic radical groups as a state mechanism to kill Indians in Kashmir and elsewhere by 1,000 cuts. Well, India has had enough, and after the recent cowardly act of the Pakistani terrorists firing on unarmed tourists in Pahalgam, Kashmir, India has decided to choke the life out of this cancer of a nation. India has officially chosen to come out of the Indus Water Treaty. Now many of us are confused that they kill us every time. And why don't we do the same? Why don't we supply arms and money to the Balochi freedom fighters and also to the Pashtuns? Let them destroy Pakistan from inside? Well, I am not saying that we are not going to do that, but all I am saying is that a state cannot officially come out and do that. Coming out of this treaty is a kill move by the Indian government. We went for their jugular this time. Welcome to the Bharat Perspective. Today we are going to talk about how India can bring Pakistan to its knees by holding off only 30% of the water that we gift them. You know, in the world of geopolitics, power isn't just about armies and weapons. It is about leverage. And there's one leverage India holds over Pakistan so deeply and so critically. It flows right through Pakistan's veins. It's water. Specifically the waters of the Indus River system. And believe it or not, with just 30 to 40% control, India could bring Pakistan's agricultural heartland to a halt. Now, let's go back to 1960. The Indus Water Treaty, brokered by the World Bank, was hailed as a triumph of peace in a hostile region. According to it, India gets the eastern rivers, Ravi, Beas, Sutlej. Pakistan gets the western rivers, Indus, Jhelum, Chenab, which means 80% of the water. That's right. Despite originating in India, nearly 80% of the water is gifted. Yes, gifted to Pakistan. Even today, in 2025, when global water wars are real and rising, when our citizens are being killed every day by Pakistani bullets, is it rational to keep this generosity alive? Now let us look at the ticking bomb that is otherwise known as the Pakistani Army Canteen Shop, aka economy of Pakistan. Pakistan's economy is a ticking water bomb. Agriculture employs 38% of its workforce, contributes almost 20% to its GDP, and relies 80% on the Indus Basin. Now imagine, if India were to divert or store just 30% of Indus water, not even violating the treaty fully, what happens? Punjab in Pakistan dries up, crops fail, especially wheat and sugarcane. Food inflation skyrockets. Pakistan's fragile economy tumbles further into chaos. And mind you, this is not a conceptual scenario. It can and will happen within 4 months of the start of stopping water, even partially. Now I know what you're thinking. I hear you guys. What about international law, World Bank and international pressure? Listen. If you've not been living under a rock for the past 5 years, international treaties are fugazi, enforceable by no one and adhered by no one. Here are a few examples of countries breaking treaties. Russia invaded Ukraine. Despite the Budapest Memorandum, China rewrote maritime boundaries with South China Sea. America pulled out of the Paris Climate Accord, Iran deal and Afghanistan with absolutely zero consequences. You know what? In today's world, treaties are convenience, not commitments. So why must India alone play by the book? Especially when it is dealing with a nation that sponsors terror, attacked our cities and undermined our sovereignty. Now here's the most interesting part. India is well within its rights to build storage dams on the western rivers, channel waters for domestic use, irrigation, even hydropower. Use run-of-the-river projects legally allowed under the treaty. Projects like Krishna Ganga and Ratle are just the beginning. India has completed building a dam over Ravi River which took 45 years in 2024. Under the treaty, India has full rights of the Ravi River, the Shahpur Kandi barrage in Pathankot district of Punjab. Before this, all of the water used to flow into Pakistan. But that is not the case anymore. This is a new India, a state which will retaliate in the language that the aggressor understands. Also, India is building 7 new dams across the Kishtwar region in Kashmir, aiming to generate 5,190 megawatts of hydroelectricity. Now, if these dams do not let the water pass and hold up the water, Pakistan's water resources are done for. And you know the best part? India hasn't even fully used its legal rights. And this did not happen overnight. The reality of Pakistan dying of thirst first emerged when in 2016, after the Uri attack, India vowed to maximize its share under the treaty. And the same thing happened after the 2019 Pulwama attack. In 2022, the World Bank could not get Indians and Pakistanis to agree on the design of Jhelum Dam that is being built on the Indian side. WB appointed a neutral expert and a court of proceedings for disputes regarding the treaty. And in Jan 2023, India formally invoked Article 12(3) of the treaty, seeking to modify the treaty for the first time in the treaty's history. In September 2024, India served a notice stating that the treaty favors Pakistan unfairly. Which brings us to the April 2025 Pahalgam Kashmir attack. India has now come out and said that it is suspending its obligation under the treaty pending credible action by Pakistan to end cross-border terrorism. So the next time Pakistan cries foul at even 30% reduction, India can simply say, "We are just taking what's ours, not a drop more. We have asked nicely before. You had the chance. But now, whatever happens, it happens." Now coming back to the initial question that we all had. Why don't we go after them militarily with tanks, bombs and other hostilities? The answer is, why waste precious resources if we can cut the head of the snake, or in this case, kill the snake out of thirst. Let us see how much money they have once they don't have water to irrigate their lands and don't have drinking water for their Punjabi army Shehzadas who run the country like it's an army canteen. India has been forced to weaponize water, and now that it has, it will spell doom for Pakistan. And the best part is that India is already poised to do the needful. All India needs to do is accelerate dam construction in J&K and Himachal, develop irrigation in Ladakh using Indus tributaries, monitor and legally utilize every free liter from the western rivers, ignore international noise like everyone else does, and the message will be clear. India won't bleed and beg. It will build and block. We must not forget that treaties are for friends. Terror states get pressure and wrath. Pakistan must learn the river that feeds you can also flood you, and India holds the gate.